Thank you very much, Ms. Tomalin. Any questions from the audience, please?
And I noticed that both in the United States and Canada and other countries, the product monographs, which is what most physicians, patient will look, do not, there's no rule telling companies that they need to update them so people know what's happening in pregnancy. So the Prozac statement of 85 equal the Prozac statement of 204, 205, despite the fact there are now 20 studies. Although the company may not want to label, I understand, shouldn't we bring a situation that the physician at least will know that studies were done when they read the label?
Both Canada and the United States have been looking at their product monographs or package inserts and looking at how the data presented is used and seen by physicians. And both countries have made recommendations for how to improve this. The intent is that product monographs would be updated. Historically, that hasn't occurred regarding pregnancy. A stronger emphasis by regulatory agencies in requiring companies to, at a minimum, summarize published data that's available would probably be very helpful. And this is not only within Canada and the United States, but is really worldwide. It's something that as a society we've become comfortable with, leaving the discussion of how to use drugs in pregnancies to the physicians who need to use those drugs. It has been the way that we've moved forward. It's been the way that we've worked for 30 years. If we want to change that, then we need to have a change in attitude and a change in policy. And that's not something that can be affected in a 1-month period of time. That's something that would have to be worked on. But certainly I do agree with you that greater information in that area would be very beneficial. Yes?
I'd like to take Gide's question one step further. A few weeks ago, a huge study from the UK showed that if you give vitamin C and vitamin E antioxidants, you actually not only that you don't improve outcome, you make it worse. Mm-hmm. This prompted the Canadian study to be stopped, actually. Mm-hmm. And my question to you is, when it comes to a drug which is generic, vitamins, how long do you think it will take for this information to get to the CPS?
This, within a Canadian perspective, is difficult, and part of the reason that it's difficult is that vitamins and minerals are natural health products. They're not drugs per se. And as natural health products, they can be labeled and sold as long as they meet a monograph that's published by Health Canada. What we probably need to do, there is an exclusion list for natural health products. We probably need to advocate that use of products during pregnancy be an exclusion criteria for something to be a natural health product, and that it then move over to the drug category. But even moving this over to the drug category, these kinds of products that are kind of dietary supplement-like products in the United States are old drugs in Canada. There are drugs that do not require a new drug submission. So it is relatively easy to market those products. We've talked about in Canada adopting a European system of drug registration where we would no longer differentiate between old drugs and new drugs, but still give a license for a 5-year period of time to a drug, which would then be updated. I think that that's a wise way to go. If we don't go in that way, then I think that the companies that apply for DIN numbers, drug identification numbers, for drugs to be labeled for use during pregnancy should be required to move into a new drug status. That would be my recommendation. Yes?
Just a comment. We have a peculiar system in the U.S. that deals with vitamins, natural products, and that sort of thing, which actually requires that we demonstrate that they're hazardous before they can be withdrawn from the market, which creates some really peculiar situations. The other thing that I think is interesting is we can make citizens petitions to change the label, but I'm not aware of that being done very much at all, if ever. And that's one of the ways that we're planning to try to improve both pediatric and obstetric labeling is basically having the NIH make a citizens petition to the FDA for a label modification. We haven't done it, but it is possible. Is that possible here in Canada?
We don't have a process in Canada that's like a citizen's petition. A citizen's petition means that anyone in the United States can address the Food and Drug Administration and make some recommendations. It's a very public document. Once you file it, anyone else can also comment on it. We don't have that process here, but that doesn't mean we don't have a process whereby we can't make recommendations. What we need to be careful about, or what anyone who would want to change policy would need to be careful about, is that something doesn't get sent in and put in a file folder somewhere and forgotten. So if policy is really going to be changed, there needs to be a multifaceted approach to the communication that has to go on in terms of why it needs to be changed and who the stakeholders are who need to be involved in making that change. It can't simply be a white paper sent in. It's not going to be sufficient here to make the change. But certainly the way that the citizens petition is a very public document, and the fact that NIH would do that, those two factors together would certainly bring a lot of focus on the issue.
Thank you very much.